All right, it seems Abra is ready for us. Abra, what's the Democratic Alliance saying this morning?
That we can get together to discuss the state of the nation, which is in a state, and I think that we cannot turn our mind away from that. 42% unemployment, a parliament that is burnt, and an economy that is in a downward spiral. We need to make sure that the business of the state and the business of parliament continues uninterrupted so that we can address those issues that matter to South Africans. Thank you, Siv.
Tasha, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thanks very much. Morning, everyone. Once again, we meet in front of this absolute devastation. The smell that we felt yesterday still in the air, our eyes still watering. It's a bit like deja vu. The fire restarting last night was terribly frightening for all of us who were here yesterday. But what I want to assure you is I have got very strict instructions from the leader of the Democratic Alliance, and myself and Siviwe Gwarube as Chief Whip and Deputy Chief Whip are going to make sure that these instructions are followed through. We are going to absolutely insist in a meeting that is happening at 2 o'clock this afternoon that an independent forensic investigation is undertaken together with the SABC investigation, because we strongly believe that you cannot investigate yourself. We have seen forensic investigators on the precinct this morning, but we do believe that an independent forensic investigation is needed. From the damage and the devastation that we can see, and from the last statement made by the Speaker herself last night, it is looking a lot more like something more sinister than simply a homeless man jumping over a fence and starting a fire on the third floor. It is looking like something very sinister going on, and we will get to the bottom of it, believe you me. We are going to make sure that Parliament continues running. As you know, the portfolio committees have been running on the hybrid system. In fact, they have been completely on digital, on Zoom. That will continue. We will make sure that Parliament does sit. Alan Winde very kindly offered the CTICC as an option. Jordan Hill-Lewis has offered the City Council chamber as well as the City Hall, which seats over 1,000 people. We also have the Good Hope chamber, which seats 400 people, and given the constraints of COVID, that would do for Parliament too, but we are going to make sure that Parliament does sit. Siviwe and I unfortunately sat in a very fruitless Chief Whips Forums meeting yesterday at 2 o'clock because the presiding officers were taken on a tour, but the Chief Whips we had to do a tour on our own and speak to people by ourselves. We are not pleased by that. We believe that we must be taken on every step of the journey together with the presiding officers, because it's my job as Chief Whip to report back to my leader and to report back to my party. So Siv and I are going to be, we've also, we thought we had holiday until Monday. Siv and I have had to come to the stark realization that that's come to an end. But our Parliament comes first, and we are going to be fighting for the truth and to make sure that democracy works. And democracy has to start working today, because accountability has to start today. If you look behind us, so many men and women have put their lives on the line, especially what happened yesterday evening. I know we all sat in horror watching as the fire burnt throughout the night. So we owe it to our firefighters, we owe it to security services, and we owe it to the SAPs who actually reported the fire when it was started, to make sure that we find out the truth. So from the DA's side, our number one priority is to make sure that Parliament runs and runs seamlessly. We did it in COVID. No one thought that Parliament would be able to run in COVID. We ran a Parliament seamlessly without any problems during the COVID pandemic. We view this as yet another disaster. Not a good start to the year, but perhaps very symbolic in the fact that Nelson Mandela's statue, as I said yesterday, still stands proudly unscathed in front of Parliament, and that should be enough inspiration for us to make sure that the Parliament he fought so strongly for is up and running. And no matter what it takes, we hold the government to account. Thanks, Siviwe.
Natasha Mazzoni of the Democratic Alliance, together with John Steenhuisen, offering options for the state. But let's take you live to outside the Cape Town High Court. The lawyer of the accused in the Parliament fires is talking to media. Let's take it.